If you surveyed 100 people on any street, in any state, in any city in America, and asked them, what is the Lord's cartridge? If they do not say 308, they're probably a commie. I'm sorry, sir. Did you say your last name was Putin? Guys, the Lord's cartridge has been around a long time, and I still think it's dope. Now, is it fast? No. Does it have low recoil? No. Does it have ballistic advantage? No. Against throwing a rock, maybe? Depends on who's throwing it. But is it cool? Absolutely, it's cool. I love it. Back in the day, my very first build, man, I wanted the M40, especially when I saw the woodland camo of the M40 A1s. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. But I knew immediately I didn't want an M40 A1 because it didn't have a cheek weld. And the barrel situation, I knew that through tech advancements and just different studies that had been done, you could go down to shorter barrels with suppressors and still get very like-minded performance with the Lord's cartridge. So what I do, I started doing some homework. I got a Remington 700 action, trued it up, blueprinted it. Yes, that used to be a thing. The original M40 was released in 1966. It had a wood stock, and as you can imagine, not only was it heavy, but you had issues with warping and weather and all the things. So around 1970, they introduced the M40 A1, and they commissioned Macmillan at the time to make a fiberglass stock. I loved the look of that gun. I thought that was the coolest looking rifle ever, and back then I thought 308 was the bee's knees. It's still dope, but not as dope as I thought it was. So anyway, in 1996, they released the M40 A3, which basically changed the stock a little bit and added an adjustable cheek weld. Love that. I was like, that's the one. That's what I want to do. So I built one. I grabbed a Macmillan stock at the time. That was before I knew of the glorious nature of the manners. And built a gun. Had a Remington 700 trued and blueprinted. Had a 20-inch barrel cut. I think this is a Lilja barrel. And threw a suppressor on it. This is an old school Specware 7.62. If that dates me, your boy's been in the game a little while. Really heavy can, good performance, but really heavy. I've recently had it sent in to have it recut for a more modern, like ASR style mount. But anyway, that is the Specware 7.62. So went with a 20-inch. Absolutely love this gun. Couple issues I had with it. First off, it was bulky. I didn't really like the feel. The cheek weld would move all the time. I wasn't into that. The Remington 700, I had seen guys snap off bolt handles left and right when like the gun would get jammed and they'd kind of try to, you know, pogo stick it trying to get the brass out or whatever. And so I was a little worried about that. And the 20 MOA rail, it wasn't integral, but not the end of the world. Anyway, I went with a nightforce at the time. Yes, this is a second focal plane scope because I was a gentleman and that's what gentlemen ran. And it was an MOA also, gentleman rules. Things have changed a little bit. In 2009, you saw the introduction of the M40 A5. What changed? Well, basically, the major function change was they added a rail, an embedded front rail for night vision and at the time, very limited thermal clip-on options. I thought that's really cool. So I changed my setup. I went to a Manners because I just like the feel of it a little bit better and the cheek weld setup a little bit better. And that's what I've had ever since. The other issue that I had that I saw immediate improvements upon is when we got away from hog saddles. Hog saddles are great, guys. If that's all you have, run them. They're good. But you're going to see later when we do stability testing and recoil management testing, you're just so much more stable with the invention of ARCA rails. This doesn't have one. You could add one, but some of these more modern stocks have them integral pieces. And the other piece of it is some of these stocks are so tall that rail gets further away from the center bore of the rifle. Anytime you get separation like that, like in the old school Accuracy Internationals, again, you just get less stability. So if you can bring those two closer together, you can ride that firearm, you can be more stable, you can ride recoil better, you can set up better. I liked all those things. So Daddy jumped in and built him a little modernized M40 A5. After they introduced the M40 A5, they came out with some other variants like the M40 A7 and different things. That has gone very chassis centric. Great guns, like all that. They also dropped the Mark 13 Mod 5, which is 300 Win Mag, which is where most of that went. I've also got one of those. Love that gun. But if I wanted to stay with a 308, I had kind of decided the M40 A5 was the spirit of the build that I wanted to have, until a new stock came out and I thought, ooh, Daddy like a modernized M40 A5. So I built it. Let's check it out.
God, thank you.
So here we are, the modernized M40 A5. This gun used to be in a different setup. I'll show some overlay of what that looked like. I had it in an older Manners stock, thumbhole stock. Loved it. Still love it. When this stock came out, it's really what gave me the idea to do this video. And again, a couple highlights, variants from the original M40 A3-ish and the M40 A5-ish that I built today. I still like the feel of a stock. We all know that. You've heard that 100 times from me. Where they've gone with the more modern versions of this, it's gone so chassis-like that I didn't really, it's just not for me. And so I stuck with my thumbhole stock, which I really, really like. But again, a couple of the key upgrades that made this stock so appealing to throw my 308 in. First off, the first thing that I upgraded was the barrel. I went to a 20-inch carbon fiber. This is happens to be a Bartline barrel, and actually you can see it's got a hint of green in it. Looks freaking awesome next to this stock. I love the M40 look. That Rambo, the original one that I built, is probably my favorite looking rifle that I ever built. But man, this looks really good with that. When that sun hits that carbon fiber, it just looks awesome. But a couple things to note. So first off, I lightened the weight substantially by going to a 20-inch carbon fiber barrel. You know what Daddy's running, impact precision all day, every day. Now this is actually a steel action. I went with the steel. I had the titanium for a while, but candidly, with the recoil of a 308, it was almost too light. So I went back to a steel action, oversized bolt knob. I kind of like that, makes it faster on the throw. This action has who knows how many rounds on it. This is one of my very first ones ever. Absolutely love it. Manners composite stock Night Stalker. We've gone through that in the past, so you're pretty familiar with that. Now, ultimately, what I will be running, I'll be putting an Area 419, their one-piece scope mount on here. Guys, I am a total convert. It's 9 ounces. It's super lightweight, and I've been running that thing through the ringer on my coyote rig, and it doesn't have a full rail. It's like halfway clipped because my titanium actions don't have a middle section. So, and I've not lost zero a single time. So that'll be converted. I've got a 3x18 khales on order. That's what I'm going to run on this rig full time. I like that 18 power. It's probably a little overkill for 308, but I like it. Currently, this is the older 6x24, but again, that'll be changed. Keep that thing on me at all times, whether it's thermal, clip-on, or night vision clip-on. This is a game changer and an absolute must, in my opinion, for any sort of combat rifle, what have you. Again, SCAR 17, some of these more modern SIGs and different things, like if you're modern 308 battle rifle, yeah, those are probably the guns you're talking about. But there will forever be a place for precise bolt actions, period. And so that's just what I typically lean towards and why I stuck with this gun. I have a SCAR 17 as well. It doesn't ever get used. I just like this setup a little bit better. And then again, the 20-inch carbon fiber. This is a Bartline barrel. Now this has the green inlay, so it's super awesome looking. Does it look good with any other color? Not really. It's kind of weird. But if you've got green in your stock or that like M40 traditional look, oh my gosh, this thing, it's bad to the bone. The overall footprint of this, being able to collapse it, 20-inch barrel, that's been clutch. The second biggest thing about it is having ARCA. You could see the thumbhole I had on here, I added an ARCA rail to it. So I could do this because, guys, the stability difference between that and a hog saddle sort of arrangement. Hog saddles are great if that's what you have to run, but if you can run a direct ARCA like this, man, it's gonna make you much more stable. So that was a key addition and something that I think needed to be added to this gun. This gun sits in my safe. It gets used to deer hunt every once in a while. I plink with it just for fun, but it was not in my repertoire of night hunting rigs. It is now, okay? M40 A5 modernized. Here it is, and last but definitely not least, again, the Sykes clutch. You can see I'm running the Sykes clutch for recoil mitigation and just stability when I'm on the tripod at night hunting. Man, it makes a world of difference. Really love this build. Thought it was awesome, thought it was cool, thought you guys may find it interesting. Now, we're gonna check out some stability differences. We're gonna do a recoil test at 400 yards, and then I'm gonna go show off and shoot a KYL with a 308 at 505 yards just to show you God's cartridge is still relevant, kind of.
Somebody tell God thank you.
Here we are with the original M40 A3, kind of. The Rambo, if you will. That's what I named this gun. It's freaking the most awesome, killer-looking gun I've ever had. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, I am going to shoot 4 rounds at 400 yards just to do a recoil test. Now, this is a second focal plane scope, so I'm almost all the way zoomed in so that we can get a true measurement. This is a second focal plane nightforce. So I'm going to shoot 4 rounds. I found this ammo in the corner of my house. I have no idea how old it is. I just know that it's shooting 168 grain Sierra. So hey, Godspeed. Let's see what happens. The other thing I'll have you notice as we do this is just how much more wobbly I am out of like a hog saddle type of setup. Again, this is a great one. I love this one. It's a really good setup, but you'll just see the stability difference in this and one that I can directly clamp via arc mount. So here we go, 400 yards. Let's send 4 shots. Hopefully I get a hit here. Impact. I think I was slightly low. There we go. There we go. That'll be better. Ooh, that ammo's a little tight. There we go. One last one. There we go, 4 rounds, 168 grain Sierra Match Kings. Probably doing 26, 30, but I have no idea because that ammo's probably a decade old.
Somebody tell God thank you.
All right, guys, so here we are with the modernized M40 A5. We're gonna do a quick recoil comparison at 400 yards. The other thing, notice how much more stable I am off an ARCA rail. When I can clamp directly into an ARCA rail, and my center to bore to tripod is all much closer together, I'm able to control it better. Notice the stability difference. So here we go. We're gonna send some at 400 yards, 168 grain Sierra Match Kings doing, I don't know, something, 26, 30 maybe, 10-year-old ammo. Here we go. All right, we're recording, here we go. Again, this is a first focal plane scope, guys. So what you're doing is you're measuring the variance from the center of where I'm holding to the actual recoil. And you can measure it, doesn't matter what zoom magnification I'm on. I think that's it. Nope, one more. Nope, keep it. Blast. .308, God's cartridge, 400 yards, 168 grain Sierra Match King. What's up? The sponsor of today's video is Area 419. We want to thank those guys. Candidly, had they had this rail in existence when I built that original 308 almost a decade ago, I probably wouldn't have built the other two. Why? Because I could have thrown this Arca rail, this was one of their 10-inch Arca rails, on the bottom of that McMillan stock, and even though I wasn't fully happy with some of the other parts of that stock, if I could have clamped it directly into a tripod with Arca mount, I probably wouldn't have built the other ones. So guys, check them out at area419.com. And as I mentioned in the video too, if you're looking for a one-piece scope mount, I'm moving exclusively to these sorts of mounts. I filmed most of this video before these were out. I could get them, but you'll see these in other future videos. So check them out, area419.com. Really appreciate their support on this video.
Somebody tell God thank you.
All right, guys, here we are to Know Your Limits, Test Your Limits rack at 505 yards. The smallest target down there, I believe, is a 4-inch by 4-inch target. We'll see if we can hit it. I just threw this in this chassis today, so let's work our dope out as we go. 505 yards, it's calling for 3.1 mils. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Okay. A little right to left out there. I'm gonna start with the 2/10 to the right hold. There we go. Boom. Actually, elevation looked pretty good. More like 4/10 though. Adjusting. A little bit right. Cut it down to 3/10. Hit the right edge. Looks like the wind's dying out on me. Now straight up. The left edge there. Give it 1/10 there. Popped it. Probably was a little bit high. Go 1/10 and low. Boom, baby! There you go, that's how we do it in the big leagues. Lord's Cartridge 308, him guiding me onto steel. Love it. 168 grain Sierra Match King doing 2630 out of a 20-inch carbon fiber barrel. Guys, to compete with, is it relevant? Not unless you're shooting tactical. But is it fun and still very accurate with the right setup, the right gun, the right shooter? Absolutely. The Lord's Cartridge. Thank you, Lord. Yes, sir. That's pretty good. I love it. No one's ever going to believe I smoked it. That straight rack.
Hallelujah. Somebody tell God thank you.